we're going to go over some stuff here. And who here, when growing up, loved show and tell? Who loves show and tell? Whether you were presenting it or you were watching it. Now, I wasn't real like being in front of the room, but I love the stories and the pictures that kids would bring. You know, this is just a green folder, but the green folder and this green folder was given to me my grandpa. I mean, the stories and I loved it. And a lot of us growing up, and I don't know if they still do that in school or not. I think they do. But they have a show and tell, and it gives people a chance to tell their story of what this item, you know, or the picture or whatever it was of the family and the story behind it. And I always loved it. And then I realized that, you know, I was probably more of a story lover. I didn't have everything that everybody else had, but if there was a story behind it, I love listening to the stories. And in all honesty, I believe show and tell is everybody's pastime favorite. I mean, somewhere. And you start looking around at it in the show and tell, and there's even a president a while back, and they talk about how great he was and his leadership. And when you come down, he was governor of California and he was president of the United States. He was a storyteller. Does anybody remember the stories that Mr. President Reagan said? Not that he was the best president for everybody. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he was a storyteller. He would talk about stuff in his stories and people would just be, wow, this is so amazing. But even Mr. Thomas, a lot of us, you know, like you guys in Texas are blowing it up down there in Dallas, and you guys got a great thing going on. But Mr. Thomas flies to Texas and tells stories about business. If I'm not wrong, doesn't somebody else present and then he comes up and he tells stories? Sometimes he used to have pictures. Y'all remember the pictures he used to have? You know, and they've kind of cut back on that. And I get it. We don't want any of that false stuff, but we sit and listen. Anytime there was a new story, I didn't care how long you were in the business. Anytime Mr. Thomas had a new story you hadn't heard before, you were all ears. Right? All ears. It's just stories. I mean, like I say, I love stories, guys. I love telling stories. Not lying, but stories. And even my poor family, I feel bad for my family, my kids. Anytime I had the chance to the opportunity to tell them a story for me and my kids, and now it's my grandkids, so it's like I feel really bad for a moment, then I'm over it. But it all started out, well, I was a baby in the woods raised by wolves. To this day, my grandkids, Papa, how do you know how to do that? Oh, I was raised by wolves. And I got this elaborate story that I made up throughout the years that my kids heard their whole freaking life. Now my grandkids are hearing it. But it's still a story. But you know what, guys? You know what I'm really looking for? And I'm looking for someone to show and tell my business that'll grow my business. Our business, Rose and my business. And I'm going to go over a few things on show and tell with our business, or show and tell, or tell and show. Okay. So we're going to start off with, we're going to go through the different accounts that we have. Okay. So, y'all know we have Vivint, right? So always, like I say, always know enough about your products and your services that you can tell a story. So the other day I had to sit down. And I know Adrian, you did this. I'm freaking awesome, dude. I can't wait to hear the stories about the networking group, because I know you were going to looking into that. And so I had some ideas, right? I was trying to think about outside the box. And I had some ideas about the networking group. Now, our networking group that me and 3 other guys started probably about 7-8 years ago. This year, it's only May now. We've already hit the $1 million mark in referral business with each other. How would you all like to be part of $1 million referral business? Because if it's $1 million this year, what do you think it's going to be next year? And you're part of it. Okay. So I'm sitting down with the president and vice president, and I know most of y'all know Miss Evelyn Phipps. She's been on the call a few times. You know, Miss Evelyn, you've seen her out there. So Miss Evelyn comes to my house. Now I'm across town at a new coffee place, right? It's not a Starbucks, but it's a coffee place like Starbucks. And we're sitting there, we're talking about business, making the group better, right? It's always about being better. And Miss Evelyn walks up. And so I pick up my camera and I'm like, oh, sorry, guys. And I bring up the video. I'm trying to get it. I should have had this set up, but I have to re-log back in, not log in, but get on. But I said, hey, oh my gosh, right? And I show the video and I said, oh yeah, this is Miss Evelyn. You guys, I don't think you guys know her, but it shows me who's walking up to my house. And she's walking up to my front. Oh, and then she just went into my house. So she did not. But she's family. She's welcome here all the time. And Rosa was expecting her. And I showed both ladies. See, this is why you guys need Vivint. So I said, I showed and then told them, you guys need Vivint. So you guys know who's coming home, your kids, everything. Like both of them said, yes, we do. And we're going to be sitting down with you and getting that hooked up. So now possibly, not possibly, but we're going to sit down. I think it's next week and get it set up. Now, if it doesn't happen next week, it'll be the week after that. But I'm always going to be on them. Hey, you guys. And what happens? I show them each week now because they said they wanted to get hooked up, right? I show them every Vivint promotion that I get texts. Does anybody else get texts from Vivint with the new promotions? And I copy the text I get from Vivint and I send it to both of them at the same time. Hey guys, 4 months, no monitoring fees. 4 months free. Buy a camera, get a camera free. Get a picture with Chris. No, I'm just kidding. So all of this, anytime they have a bonus come across now, I send it to them. Now, sometimes it's happened that next week. Sometimes it's been several months. I had to send the bonus again, the new bonus. And sometimes, oh, hey, this isn't as good as last month's bonus. Yeah, that's why you should, I only sent it to you to try and, help you out. But I told the story. And now we potentially 2 more people, homes that want Vivint. And I can't, honestly, I cannot tell you how many times I've done that. So y'all know about alerts on your phone, right? So it always activates. Boop. Oh, what's that? And I know I know who it is because that sound is my Vivint sound, right? So I look. Oh, sorry, someone's walking up to I could be even in a meeting. Sorry, someone's walking up to my house. Yeah, this is the Vivint we talked about, and say, yeah, so I just making sure everybody's safe, right? So you have the ability to show and tell. And I can't tell me how many times I do that to people. I do it all the time. There's people probably sick and tired of me like, oh God, he's bringing out his phone again to show his camera, right? I even got people in my networking business that actually, when the sound goes off, someone coming up to the house, oh yeah, thanks. They recognize my tone. But guys, in doing this right now with Vivint, we have 13 accounts and 2 more looking to come on next week. Will take us to 15. Okay. Now, how about ID Seal? Okay. What kind of stories can you tell with ID Seal? Now, sometimes it's not your story. I use, depends on who it is. My sister-in-law, and she had issues with her and the husband. Sometimes things don't work out, but he just turned to the dark side, we'll say. He went in areas that weren't conducive to law enforcement and being healthy. And her alarm activated one night, right? Living by yourself, right? And your alarm goes off. What are you thinking? Oh, crap. Should have got a gun. Which cop station was next door? You got a lot of things, right? So she got up and looked around, and what's Vivint do? Within about 7 seconds. Hello, miss. This is Vivint Home Security, and alarm's been activated at your residence. Oh, yes, yeah, I'm here. But she noticed her sliding glass door had been wiggled, and she knew that her soon-to-be ex was knew how to wiggle that sliding glass door open to get in because he did it before. So here's what she did. And this is what I tell, especially that if I know a woman is single, right? She might have kids, but she's not living. So I tell this story because she can resonate to it. And I said, so she says, yeah, everything's fine, ma'am. I don't know why it went off. She goes, okay, what's Vivint ask next? What's your password? So I can get this shut off. She goes, oh, my password's fish lips. I'm just using these words. I don't know what her passcode is, and I don't know what she used. But she gave the wrong password. You know what Vivint says? All righty, ma'am. You take care of yourself. Everything else good? Oh, yes, ma'am. This is all over the panel on the wall. They shut it off. She turns around. I got to give her props because she was all calm about it. Walked to the bedroom, locked the door, walked in the bathroom, locked the door. Vivint called her on the phone. Ma'am, is everything okay? Wrong password. She goes, yes, but I think someone's in my house. So she says, wait in the bath. She told her where she was. She says, wait where you're at. Cops are coming. She stayed on the phone with her. Cops got there, knocked on the door. Clovis police. He had already scampered back out the door. And she told the cops about it. They went and looked around the place, never saw it. And she swears to this day that she thinks she's alive because of it. So, good story, right? This was for Vivint. Sorry, so for Vivint. So have your good stories. Now for ID Seal, the one was I wanted to tell you about was my wife's got a good friend. Now she used to be a business partner of ours, right? And she was out of the Fresno area, and then she ended up moving out of country. She moved back to Mexico, and she was actually working for a company down there. So everything was working out for her. So what had happened, and she thinks she knows who it is. So this is for ID Seal now, okay? So for ID Seal, she thinks her neighbor got her mail, her daughter got her mail, and actually was opening up accounts, credit cards, and all kinds of stuff in her name, and basically hacked the living crap out of her. She's opening up accounts. She was taking money out of the bank. She was doing all kinds of stuff. And what's nice about it is Rose even recorded the phone call between the two of them and asked for permission. Can I use this? So when you're talking to somebody about ID Seal now, have those stories available. Now that's Miss Laura. She had someone else pick up her mail. And even if you know who it is, unless you have video proof, most of the companies aren't going to do anything. They're not going to press charges. They're not going to do anything. So just to let you know. So even as a former IBO, you're still vulnerable. Okay. So tell people this. Another story. I had a guy, he's part of my networking group, right? And he does, and I call it old people's insurance. So it's 65 and older, it's Medicare. He does the Medicare stuff stuff. I'll have to be talking to him in a couple of years myself. So Jeff, he calls me on the phone, and Jeff's calm, cool, and collected. It's like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, hey, boss, how you doing, Jeff? I'm driving home, right? I'm in my truck. I'm driving home, talking to him on the phone. He goes, oh, okay. He goes, hey, can you be at the office right now? But I had no idea where his office was. I says, absolutely. Send me the address and I'll be right there. So sends me the address. I put it in the system, hit it on the phone, and go to his place and meet him up. I says, hey, what's up? He says, I don't know if you know it or not, but I was with LifeLock. I was with LifeLock, the one that's on TV all the time. And I was going through, he's having a house built up here in the foothills. And he was going through all of his checks were about to be released for the construction, for the pad, so different checks for everything. So he's going through and just double checking. Everything's supposed to be released. He sees one on there. He goes, $10,000? I don't remember that. Well, that's my name. Wait, that's not my bank account. Someone was opening up a $10,000 line of credit, or whatever you call it, loan, and having it shipped to their bank account. And if he hadn't have gone through that in 2 days, that check would have cleared and he'd have been out the money and had to gone through all the systems to prove wrong. Right? So what's he do? He calls LifeLock. He goes, hey, I have LifeLock. You guys are supposed to protect me from this. LifeLock had the audacity to tell him that, oh, no. We do cover that, but that's in the bigger package. You don't have the bigger package. You got this package. We took care of all that, but you didn't have the big. So they tried to upsell him. And that's when they told him, no, I'm done with you. Cancel me. I'm done. And he called me and I went over and we've been watching him ever since. But I got him on Audible of just him telling his story. So it's not me. So if people want to hear these stories, I have the actual story. Rose has the actual story. So guys, have those. Now with that story and that LifeLock, I'm just telling you guys, we have 28 IDCL accounts. We tell stories. Okay. Now, next one is merchant services. And we don't have a lot of merchant services accounts, but we have stories, right? So I always ask questions. You got to ask questions before you can show and tell anything. So I'm at my mechanic shop and he goes, I just asked him, he says, hey, how do you like your credit card processing machine? It's like, yeah. He says, it's interesting. He says, I used to do 70, 80% cash, but now in today's economy, I'm doing 70, 80% in credit cards. I says, yeah, I understand that. He goes, you know anything about it? I go, a little bit. So here, let me go get my bill. So he brings his bill out. He says, this line right here, it says not compliant. And I'm thinking, not compliant? I says, what are you doing wrong, right? That's what I'm thinking. It said not compliant, $125 a month, non-compliance. Well, I looked into it. He was non-compliant because he didn't have the upgraded equipment. And the company he was with, right? We always want to keep our customers. The company he was with, I don't know why, didn't call him and try and upgrade him. They just let him pay. He says that started out years ago. That started out at $10 a month. Now it's at $125. I saved him 44% a month on his spendings. Was he happy to get over to and get Vivint? Absolutely. I'm sorry. Sphere. Sorry. Was he happy to get Sphere? Absolutely. Absolutely. And he's been doing that since. So here it is, guys. Before I could show and tell him anything, I had to get some information. So anybody here swipe credit cards? Yeah, everybody. Everybody swipes a credit card now and then. If you don't, when people are swiping, and that might even be the owner, which is fine. So when you give them your credit card or you're swiping it through yourself, what are you asking? How do you like your credit card processing? This is what I ask. How do you like it? Oh, we love it. This thing is exactly what, and I've had people say that. I've never been happier. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. But I keep it in mind because next time when I go in there and swipe a credit card, how's your system going? You still liking it? Oh, yeah, absolutely love it. I guarantee you, you're going to come through there one day and swipe a credit card and they're going to be pissed at it. That's going to give you the chance to show and tell. Now you might be able to use my mechanic story. Like my company, right? Would we do merchant services? A business partner of mine just saved his mechanic 44% in monthly billing. You want to see if we can save you anything? Then just make it simple. But you have to ask, okay? Then we can start showing and telling, okay? So everybody, you swipe a credit card somewhere, except the big markets like, Starbucks or Vons and stuff like that, you're out, but there. So what's the next thing? Showing and telling was natural gas. Okay, so I get it. Some states, you guys don't have it yet. That's fine. I know people in states that do. Okay, so how did we show and tell natural gas? I didn't have Rose make homemade tortillas. didn't cook them some food, didn't do any of that. We knew what the gas providers had did to everybody. It was common knowledge. We had actually talked about it on some of these calls. So we knew what their gas provider did to them. And you know what we did? Showed them our prices. If you would have had us last month, this is how much you would have saved, or you could have saved. Okay, so we showed them the price. And a lot of people are like, well, how do you guys do that? That's when you have to show them in detail a little bit more how it works. A lot of people are like, do they come up and dig up all my PG&E gas lines and put new lines in? I said, no, your landscaping, which looks great, is going to be fine. They use PG&E will bill you. PG&E will still deliver it. SoCal Edison's a little bit different. SoCal Gas is they will send you the gas, but Zoom will bill you and they'll bill you for delivery. So you got to explain a few of the things, which is fine. But know the prices. I just looked at it yesterday. I got an email the other day. We all got an email from ACN that asked or told us, with the gas providers, take advantage of these gas prices, right? And it showed there's a whole list. Illinois, Arkansas, wherever it is, a whole list. So you guys get all that information, use it to your advantage, and start. If you know what people do, and start telling a couple friends, hey, dude, I do gas. You're going to be paying $1.44 a month, or a therm coming in January or February. It went up from $1.37 to $1.44. Not a big jump, but still from December to January, it went from 98 cents a therm to $1.37 a therm. Big jump. So knowing these things can use to your advantage in your showing and telling. Okay. Then we already had some existing gas accounts, right? And most everybody has one or two, right? So what do? Our lock-in rate was at started out at 70 cents, went down to 67, and now I think it's at 60 to lock in for 2 years, I think, something like that. Knowing those prices, we sent it to all our gas accounts. And then what's really nice is Rose actually put together a little video a description, one through every single step to get on your account and lock in with Zoom for 2 years. And the price. So, people who are not tech friendly were able to get on there because it was so simple, but it takes time, to sit down in an evening, throw the basketball game on. There's basketball playoffs right now. Throw the basketball game on, just sit there and just do a little bit and go down and make something you can send somebody. It's super simple, but you got to get it to show and tell. So we called all our existing customers and sent them the training video. And guess what? Now we got people locked in at 2 years at a better rate, and they're happy. Okay. Now, a lot of people now are going to start talking about the gas prices at PG&E market right now here in California. For the PG&E market is down to like 17 cents a therm. And we have a lock-in rate at 60 cents a therm. So how do you get a customer like that? Winter time is coming, and if PG&E holds true to their past, these 2 months are going to be low, and then it's going to start climbing. And then when the winter time gets here, if you're not locked in, it's going to climb way past that 60 cents, and they're going to be getting you again. People were paying $500, $2,000 more in a month. We just met a gentleman the other day in a trailer park. He can't even pay his gas bill. He can't even become a customer because he owes so much in energy. And they're on a fixed income. That crap just breaks my heart. It's just like, but we just got to keep going out and fighting the good fight, guys. So the rate is low here. If you guys might be fighting that, the rate's low in your area, understand that. Start looking into it. Know your history of what PG&E or SoCal, wherever you're at, is doing, because it does this. Summertime the gas will come down, but wintertime it's here. So don't, in the wintertime when you're paying There, one time I think we were paying 80 cents. People were paying 80 cents more a therm with PG&E than they were with us. 80 cents a therm. And guess what? In wintertime, you're heating the house. You're taking longer, hotter showers. Oh no, the kids and the wives do. You know, guys usually in and out, but there's a couple of you that take those long showers. But guys, at 80 cents a therm, man, that's just ridiculous. But showing and telling our rates, everything. We have 13 accounts. I mean, it's not a whole bunch, you know, a lot of skepticism out there because they've been bothered by other gas companies. But know your business. It doesn't take long, guys. A little bit here, a little bit there. And know your business. Okay. But you start adding all this stuff up and you start, you know, your residual check that comes every month starts making a difference. Okay. So that's what I have for you guys is showing and telling. Know your business, know what you got. Now, here's what's interesting. We didn't have to sell anything with our customers. We told a story and showed them. They saw the benefit and became a customer. Now, here's what's crazy. If y'all don't have these services, you don't have your own story. You can use somebody else's, but you don't have your own story. So guys, get your service, learn your service. When ACN sends you the numbers for the gas rates and the electric rates and all that, and what's the area we should go look into, do it and have those stories, because showing and telling will grow your business. Here's what's crazy though. I've got a mother-in-law who shows and tells and has, I don't know, like 260, 250 services between her and her husband. Miss Evelyn Phipps has got like 100 services. Miss Natasha. So what did it create? It created a huge windfall of services. Simple? Absolutely. Absolutely. So guys, let's show and tell our way all the way to our next position and show others how to show and tell. Share your story, share your services, share your prices. The other day, a guy's getting, I think he's going to be starting. He's done this to me before. He's going to be starting next Monday. But his confusion was services. How do I get customers? And I said, Mario, I'm not going to sell you on anything. All right. But who's your cell service through? He goes, Vivint. I'm sorry, T-Mobile. I go, T-Mobile? Well, what do you pay a month? He goes, $335. I'm like, holy crap. So how many phones you got? 4. I was like, perfect. I said, Mario, I'm not going to sell you. I'm just going to show you. We have T-Mobile. If you went through us, it'd be $26.25 a phone. And that's 50 gigs per phone before anything gets slowed down. If you stay with T-Mobile, they'll slow you down at about 28 gigs. You have unlimited 4 and 3G, but only the fast stuff, you only got about 28 gigs. So here you got 50 gigs. Not that you need it, but $26.25 a phone. That's $108 a month. That's a savings of $227. Times 12, that's $2,700 a year you'd have back in your pocket. And you're just looking at me like, holy crap. So I just shared with him, and hopefully it sealed the deal finally for him to finally get started and just take that first step. But I just knew my services. And if I don't know it, how quick is it to get on our own back office and see our prices? Oh, how much is that? That's a good question. Let me see. Oh, that's $50. We don't have to remember everything. I can't. I don't have the brain capacity. So guys, share, and then share some more. And let's grow this thing crazy. Like I said, let's shut the website down. We got so many customers. Shut the website down. Let Mr. Provenzano come out to our neighborhoods and find out what it is we're doing and who we're sharing with. So guys, that's it. God bless. Go out there and what can we do today for our family, for our loved ones, for our why? Nothing else matters.